你们看一下，现在这里是新疆这个奇台县。
Look at this. This is Chitai County, Xinjiang, the Jiangjun Gobi service station. Gas is especially tight here now. We've been to 3 or 4 gas stations and we can't even fill up 100 liters. Not even 10 liters. We don't know what to do. Every gas station is like this. Look at the long lines of people waiting for gas. Recently, although the price of crude oil has fluctuated, the price of gas has risen sharply. Soaring gas prices are impacting people's lives. Drivers in China have been hit very hard, as gas prices are not only high, but it's almost as scarce as coal that occurs across China at the moment. Look at this driver. He is sleeping on top of his gas tank for fear that someone might steal his precious diesel at night. How expensive is gas in China? Let's compare the price on November 8th. China and the United States have different gas grades. According to Chinese officials, it is because China uses different testing methods than the US. China has grades of 92, 95, and 98, which are likely lower in quality than the 85, 87, and 89 grades in the US. The approximate gas price in the US on November 8th was USD 0.988 a liter, which translates to 6.32 renminbi a liter. In Beijing, the mid-grade number 95 gas was 8.04 renminbi a liter on November 8th. According to data released by the International Monetary Fund in March, China's GDP per capita in 2020 was only USD 10,582.10, less than 1/5 of the US GDP of USD 63,051.40. In other words, average Chinese people whose per capita income is less than 1/5 of that of Americans will have to pay more for gas. And they also have to face inconvenience and job crises due to the gas shortage. The Chinese media, Economic Information Daily, reported on November 7th that at least 11 provinces in China are experiencing gas shortages.
哎呦，麻烦，加个油排队排3个小时了，还没加上油。其实3块，这个大。不可能。
看看啊，
那边刚过来。
安徽，这是啥服务区啊？太平湖服务区都给加100块钱油啊！100块钱油连下个飞机都找不到啊！看看啊，这中国实话，我知道100块钱加几升。
你不管加几升，我都能确保你跑到。
我们能不能跑到下个服务区？
那你打电话投诉嘛？
你们投诉电话没人接，我们打过了。
对，但是
100块钱我们走不到下个服务区。
现在限加200是吧？不能多加，
我就不好多加。
哦，看看东台。
Why is gas more expensive in China than in the United States? Why is there a shortage of gas? China is the world's largest consumer of energy. It has surpassed the United States as the largest importer of crude oil. According to data from the China Petroleum and Chemical Industry Federation, in 2020, China's foreign dependence on crude oil is as high as 73.5%, and natural gas dependence is 42%. As China's dependence on foreign oil and gas continues to grow, discoveries of new geological reserves of oil and gas have fallen to their lowest point in nearly a decade. China's oil drilling activities in disputed waters have been heavily criticized by the international community. In late 2020, the U.S. placed the China National Offshore Oil Corporation, or CNOOC, on its trade blacklist, with sanctions taking effect in March 2021. This is a crackdown on China's ability to access the global energy market. At a time when energy shortages are sweeping the world, they directly affect China, the largest importer of crude oil. China's energy shortage has also led to a surge in Chinese coal imports, which according to Reuters jumped 76% in September 2021 compared to a year ago. In early October, China began releasing Australian coal from bonded warehouses to combat energy shortages. In late September, the Communist Party sold war reserve oil for the first time publicly. According to data from the China Federation of Industry and Commerce Petroleum Industry Association, 70% of China's refining capacity is currently monopolized by two major oil companies, who also monopolize imported refined oil products and crude oil. These two state-owned enterprises are known to the public as the two barrels of oil. The current price of refined oil products in China is set by a government agency called National Development and Reform Commission, or NDRC. Currently, the two oil giants are each making statements through the official Chinese media that they are producing at full capacity. In October, our imported crude oil increased 10% year-on-year, and diesel supply grew 23% year-on-year and 28.6% from the third quarter. In the next step, we will strengthen the organization of crude oil imports, further optimize and adjust the product structure, and continue to increase the diesel input in the domestic market. In the sales link, we will give priority to retail, people's livelihood, and end users. We will increase resources supply in areas with light supply and demand, guaranteeing a smooth operation of oil stations in those areas with no out-of-stock or supply cutoff. At present, the Sinopec gas stations are selling with no limits. Certain areas are having a tight diesel supply now, but we believe it's a short-lived phenomenon and things will turn for the better soon. According to RFI, Chinese media outlet Xinjiang News quoted an industry insider as saying on November 7th that there was no particular reason for the gas shortage this year, except that the two oil giants are unhappy with the fixed price and they acted out in the hope of getting subsidies from the government. The root cause is the current monopoly of the petroleum industry. He said that according to the mechanism, the gas prices should have been adjusted upwards in July, but the government didn't do it due to concern for high inflation. After the National Development and Reform Commission lowered the price of China's refined oil products in early October, the two oil giants took action and began to renovate their oil refineries, resulting in a supply shortage. He added that although private refineries have a production capacity of 130 million tons, the actual capacity is only 40 million tons. For example, although refineries in Shandong have a production capacity of 50 million tons, the two oil giants only allocate 1.7 million tons of crude oil per year to these enterprises in Shandong, which results in local refineries being underutilized due to the lack of crude oil sources. In addition, another expert said that diesel is currently very expensive. Private businesses don't have the capacity to stockpile fuel, and even if they have money, they can't buy it due to the shortages. Therefore, private businesses can't hoard fuel and cause a shortage as a result. He believes that since the two oil giants have been running at full capacity, but the shortage remains, it means state-owned refining capacity can't meet the market demand. State-owned enterprises should release some of their market shares to private companies. If the government opens up the import of refined oil products and crude oil to private enterprises, it will alleviate the shortage problem. The China Economic Times reported that it's the traders' speculation that has aggravated the gas shortages in China. The China Development and Reform Commission adjusts the price of refined oil products once every 22 working days. The predictions of private monitoring agencies almost coincide with the official announcement of price adjustment, which makes the operation of buying low and selling high easy to achieve, giving the middlemen traders much room for speculation. Earlier, the China Development and Reform Commission released the news that the domestic gas and diesel prices were increased by about US $46.93 per ton and about USD $45.36 per ton, respectively, on October 22nd. Refined oil products have gone through 20 price adjustments in 2021, 14 of which are to increase the prices. Compared to the beginning of the year, it cost consumers $12 more to fill up a 50-liter tank of gas. Gas stations across China are taking action in response to this price increase. Naturally, the vast majority of gas stations are controlled by the two oil giants anyway.
让你们看看啊，中石油垃圾， 12点涨价，现在不让加油，一路上过来100%的加油站都是这样。
晚上12点钟就要涨价，现在有钱都加不到油。中国是司法啊，他要等到涨了价再加，一个车子只能加500，多一辆都不行。
真他妈的不要脸！我们有油卡拿过来，现在他说没油了啊，就等到晚上涨价再卖给我们。这是正宗的中国实话啊，有这样子搞的啊，就等到今天晚上24时涨了。
完了，不要看视频，这里不能看视频的。
看了，不到12点，10点40、35说停了，不给加油了，等着涨价。人家加一半的，非让人家挂枪。
Then why is the gas price in China higher than the US? It's because China's Development and Reform Commission is a product of the planned economy. It claims to protect fair market transactions and stabilize market prices. In reality, it has a firm grip on key resources such as water, electricity, coal, oil and energy, mines, and railroads. In January 2016, it established the price limits for refined oil products. The upper limit is US $130 per barrel, and the lower limit is US $40. For example, in 2008, when international crude oil was US $145 per barrel, the Chinese oil price was 6.4 renminbi per liter. 10 years later, in 2018, international crude oil dropped by half to US $72 per barrel, but the Chinese oil price rose slightly to 7.6 renminbi per liter. That is, when international oil prices fell, the Chinese people still had to buy gas at the price set by the Chinese government, and the ceiling of US $130 per barrel was set so high that the Chinese people have yet to enjoy the benefits that come with the cap. In 2018, Gulf Oil opened the first foreign-owned gas station in China in Guangzhou on September 8th. It announced a 3-day promotion of price cuts before the opening. On the second day of the promotion, it was ordered to raise the price to the same level as the two domestic oil companies. The Chinese Communist Party not only controls the country by the military and police, but through the economy as well. This red system dictates an expensive way to run a country. Chinese people have to support a huge number of party officials at all levels within the CCP. They aren't government officials and don't participate in any production, yet they enjoy a high level of compensation. For example, the so-called party secretary at all levels of government is a strange position that is parasitic by nature. They have no specific work nor clear responsibilities, but in reality, they are in charge of everything and every decision must go through the party secretaries. In addition, Communist China is spending hundreds of billions of dollars on maintaining social stability, propaganda, the United Front, Taiwan, and international affairs, etc. All of which cost money. The CCP's coffers must be filled by all means to ensure the continuation of this regime. Therefore, it's not surprising to see more expensive Chinese goods. Unfortunately, in China today, many people don't understand the fact that the Communist Party takes money out of their pockets. Rather, they believe that the Communist Party pays my wages or the Communist Party gives me a good life, as if it were a matter of fact. Despite the almost blatant fraud in China due to the monopoly of state-owned enterprises, many Chinese people still feel that the government is the one they can rely on. This gas station is horrid. I haven't filled up a 25-liter tank yet, but it shows nearly 30 liters on the pump.
看看，上这儿加油来了，回来加的都是水，现在当场都报废了，每走2米，这车都完蛋了。这是站长已经承认了，这儿有录音啊。
In this gas station, the pump started rolling before the fueling even started.
拿一个枪搂上。别动它啊！别动它啊！别动它啊！看了，漂亮！别动它，别动它，别动它，再调了。哎，看了，8块6了，8块7了，8块8。这枪可是一滴本又没出啊！拿出来可以看看，一滴本又没出啊！调9块多了，这还调呢。调了，又调了，你看看，9块4了， 我操的，这是什么情况啊？这是，哎呦我操！这都是你们家二蛋是吧？没事，那我家里怼得中了，接着怼，我都不信了。
The CCP's ability to manage the country has long been a concern. As China's crude oil imports are affected by weather, geopolitics, and rising prices, it's foreseeable that energy security in China will face increasing challenges.